incapacitated state where I was actually using a walker and I was literally pooping standing up. I couldn't even sit to poop. I took the walker and I would just go shuffle into the bathroom and stand at the toilet and go to the bathroom. And what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Josh Mason from the Detox Dudes here. I just got a spark of motivation to finally film this long-awaited back injury video. I'm going to do a two-part series about back injuries and how to recover from them. At this point, I have become close to an expert on the subject without having gone to school. So let me give you a little background story. At the end of 2017, I was in Venice Beach and I was skateboarding and I landed in ollie in a weird way, and I felt this like pop, and it was painful but not that painful. And sure enough, I carried about my business for the next 3 or 4 hours. I had a meeting, I drove around, I sat in a bar chair for like 3 hours with my 2 hours with my legs dangling over in horrible posture, and eventually got to the point where I was in a lot of pain, like a 6 or a 7. And I took Advil and I drove back to Berkeley. It was a 6-hour drive, and I got to Berkeley. And the night I got to Berkeley, I actually collapsed outside. I was hanging with a girl, and I collapsed outside. She had drove me home from an appointment, and I collapsed on the ground, and I couldn't actually get from the car to the house, which was about 50 yards. I collapsed. I couldn't get up off the ground. I had to have a friend and her carry me into my friend's house, at which point I couldn't move. I couldn't walk. I couldn't stand. Even laying was excruciating. And I spent a month in a completely incapacitated state where I was actually using a walker and I was literally pooping standing up. I couldn't even sit to poop. I took the walker and I would just go shuffle into the bathroom and stand at the toilet and go to the bathroom. And I actually multiple times went on the floor, and my friend had to clean it up. Zach, I'm so sorry. Thank you so much for cleaning up my shit. Why couldn't I clean it up? I couldn't even bend down to clean it afterwards. Like I'm laughing now, but it was like torture. Okay, it was agony. Okay, and it was about a month of that. I came out of that decrepit place by going to a chiropractor, and not that he took me all the way out of it, but it came out of the dead zone that I was in, where I couldn't even wipe my own can. Okay, so that started what has now been a almost 3 year journey of learning about the body and the spine. And I am now 98% healed, have very, very few limitations. And not only did I have, I ended up having an L5-S1 disc herniation, 5mm disc herniation with some stenosis, which means there's a thinning of the spine, which of course makes everything more intense. And I also had a sacroiliac joint dysfunction. Now I'm going to break this video up into 2 different parts. One is going to be the L5-S1 disc injury and how I healed that. The other video is going to be strictly SI joint, which is a freaking maze that took me years to figure out and a lot of money. I've spent probably $40,000 to $50,000 on my back and the injuries, probably more, honestly. If I talk about all physical injuries in my body, way more, but just the back, probably around that. The long story short is that I went, in a 3-year period of time, I did stem cells, I did exosomes, I did ozone injections, PRP injections, prolotherapy injections, went to 4 different chiropractors. Surgery was recommended by one of the doctors, all different kinds of chiropractors, Gonstead, upper cervical, general chiropractic, a lot of different experts. Rolfing, foundation training, cold and hot therapy, spent thousands of dollars in supplements, fish oils, collagen, turmeric, eucomia, frame restorers, herbs, Chinese herbs. Of course, worked on the emotional pieces, John Sarno's work, physical therapy, dry needling, massage, psoas release, 40 different devices. I've had probably 30 to 40 different devices, little toys and balls and all kinds of different things, right? I've probably seen about maybe 15 to 20 different practitioners across the whole spectrum of massage and this and Rolfing, maybe 25 even, okay? And about a year ago, I had a massive breakthrough. And in the past year since then, I've gotten to the point where my back is not really on my mind anymore. I got so good that I was so lazy I didn't even film the video. Like, you know, when you accomplish things, it's like I forget about all the people who are still left in the dust, still with back injuries. And I'm like, today I finally just like slapped myself and was like, you need to film this video. Like, your stuff is, what you've learned is gold. Okay. Anyway, enough bragging. So this video specifically is going to be about disc injury. And I'm going to share with you the most important things that I found in $40,000 to $50,000 of what you can do to heal a disc injury. Okay. Again, I had L5-S1 disc injury. The symptoms were that I forgot to mention this. The journey of those first 2 years was basically not being able to walk, for then 16 months after that, not being able to sit in a chair at all. 30, 40, 50 seconds, sometimes 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Every meal I ate standing up for 16 months. To then finding some amazing therapies and healing and being able to sit again, but still being very limited in how long I could sit, to then being able to sit for hours and hours. And then I traveled to Iceland, and I traveled to Germany, I traveled to London, I started traveling the world again. I went to Kauai and began traveling the world again. And then I was left with sacroiliac joint dysfunction, and that took a whole other year to heal, basically. And that was a whole other problem in and of itself, which also limited me. And now I have hardly any limitations. Okay, I can travel the world, I can do whatever I want, and it's incredible, because I don't know that many doctors would have said that I could have come out of that. Okay, so again, long story short, a month of hell, 16 months of real serious pain, life-changing pain. My whole life revolved around my back. I was operating at 25% of what I could normally. I could only walk a mile a day. And then after that phase, then there was the whole sacroiliac joint dysfunction, which was a whole other nightmare to heal. Way more complicated than a disc, and it needs its own separate video. Okay? So for the rest of this video, I'm going to teach you the most important pieces of the puzzle in healing from a back injury, a lower back disc injury. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not a physical therapist. I'm not an expert in this department. I'm just a dude who went through hell, who learned a lot, and I'm ruthless and relentless and tenacious, and I will find the answers if my health depends on it and if my well-being depends on it. And that's what I did. I found the answers for me, and I know a lot of people that this has helped, because I have health coached other people who have had back injuries and helped them tremendously. So, maybe I'll start a second business or something. Lower back dudes. Anyhow, let's cut right to the chase. The first and most important piece of the puzzle for a low back disc injury is going to be foundation training. Alrighty guys, so I'm going to give you the super basics of foundation training, but I'm also going to give you other resources to dive deeper. Pretty much this video is just going to be a home base where you can launch off of, and each subject I present to you, you're going to have to dive deeper into other things. Okay, so foundation training is basically a series of exercises by this gentleman named Dr. Eric Goodman. And what it does is it focuses on the posterior muscle chain, the muscles that run along the back side of your body. Okay, what's happening in this world is that these muscles are dying and they're atrophying, and all we're doing is everything is coming inward. Okay, we're hunched over, we bend over, we sit like this, we text like this, and these muscles are not firing the way they're supposed to. And what that does is that causes muscle tension, it causes muscle firing pattern issues, but most importantly, at the end of that line comes disc issues. Disc issues are just a side effect, guys. They're just the end of the line. They're not the problem. There's way more things that happened before you got a disc injury. For me, it was years of jiu-jitsu, years of sitting improperly, years of not taking care of my posture, okay? So foundation training, the very basic move in foundation training is called the founder. It's where you put your weight on your heels, you take a seat, put your arms back, and then you use your arms as a counterweight to basically put tension in the muscles around the spine, the muscles that protect the spine. My glutes are tight, my hamstrings are tight, and these muscles right here that protect my spine are also tight. Okay, this is the most basic move within foundation training. Now you can go as advanced and deep down the rabbit hole as you want. He has hundreds and hundreds of hours of teaching. All I did was I did a 12-minute foundation exercise every single day. I'm going to show you the video right here, a clip of it, and I'll post the link in the info section.
Small. Bring your legs nice and wide. Slight bend in the knees, so you're not going windmill wide right there. Knees bent, hips back, arms back. Really pay attention here. Your shoulders are as open as possible. Your chest is high, your back is braced. You're going to press your chest a little further forward, pull the hips back just a little bit. Take a deep breath. Keep your weight back on your heels and don't let your knees come forward. Don't let them come forward at all. Keep the knees right back behind the ankle. Slowly bring the arms all the way up in front of you. As the arms come up, you're going to feel that tension really increase right at the lower spine here. Press your chest further forward. Reach your arms out as far as you can. Push the hips back just a little bit more. From here, take a deep breath in. I want you to bring your arms.
Okay. So that is pretty much the extent of what I did. There is one other thing that I did, which is next on the list, which is the 8-point plank, okay? So I'm not gonna teach the 8-point plank because I'm not certified and I don't know enough of what I'm doing. I'm just gonna show you what it looks like and then give you the resource to dive deeper. Essentially, the 8-point plank is where we put our weight on 8 points of the body. The fingers, the elbows, the knees, and the feet. And what it does is we lift up with the upper torso first, and it looks like this, okay? It looks easy, it's extremely difficult. Very, very, very intense for the muscles around the spine and also for the abs. And there's a muscle, I forget what it's called, it's all the way in there, transverse abdominis, the TA, which is very, very important to activate for disc injuries. So that video, I will show you a little clip of it now.
With the increasing popularity of our 8-point plank challenge, thought it would be a really good idea to show you how to do an 8-point plank the best way possible. I'm here with our foundation training program director, Jesse Salas. First thing we do, quick, easy tutorial on the 8-point plank.
And also provide you the link. Very, very, very important for disc injuries. For both the 12-minute exercise and the 8-point plank, start slowly. The more severe injury you have, the slower you're gonna have to start, and these things you're gonna have to go at 20% strength, or just maybe even just learn the technique without even really doing it. It all depends, right? In the beginning of my journey, I could have never done that. It took months to be able to even get to a place where I could even do these exercises. So if you can't do them, put a pause on it, do the other stuff that I'm talking about, get to a place of relative stability where you can walk, where you can at least sit, and you're not in full agony, and then start doing these things. And if you are in agony, do them with perfect, proper technique, very, very, very slowly and very, very, very gently, and just do it for seconds, for a few seconds, okay? Okay, so the next point of order, which is a little difficult to talk about, is that you're gonna wanna see someone who understands muscle tension, okay? There are different ways and different schools of accomplishing this, but I would say that my whole journey changed when I went to see Toby Hansen in California. I'll show you a little video clip of that experience with him.
Yeah, here it is. Here is where you're holding it.
Oh, fuck.
Breathe.
That changed everything for me in terms of my disc. My muscles were so tight that it was like impossible for me to make progress until someone released those muscles, and he has his own specific technique. There are other practitioners around the world who have techniques on how to release muscles. You can do dry needling, you can use foam rollers, or you can use an exercise ball, like a foam ball, but you want to find someone who really knows what they're doing. If unfortunately the only two people that I know that really know what they're doing are Toby Hansen in California, and on the other side of the country, Troy Stallman. Okay, if you can't get to one of those guys, check out a place that does dry needling. Find a practitioner who knows how to release the muscle tension around the disc injury. It could even be through massage. It could be like a Rolfing. It could be any sort of pressure or stretching technique. That there's also another school called the Genius of Flexibility in Santa Barbara. They also are very good. Any type of practitioner that is going to help you release the muscle tension, because that is really difficult to do alone. If it wasn't for Toby, I would definitely not be where I am today. Okay, definitely not. Now, I unfortunately, I would have loved to give you everything that you can do on your own, and you could still make amazing progress on your own, but we do need help sometimes. Okay, if you're a serious case, you may need to go fly to see Toby, you may need to see Troy, you may need to find any practitioner who does who knows how to release the tension of the muscles. Like, imagine a muscle that's just spasming all the time. It doesn't matter how much you train that muscle or how much foundation training you do, it has to give. It has to have some retraining. Okay, the last two pieces of the puzzle. So, okay, I gave you guys a 12-minute foundation training exercise, 8-point plank, which is also a foundation training exercise. Told you about Toby Hansen and Troy Stallman, or any other, or dry needling, or any other practitioner that knows how to release the muscles. Okay, and then I'm going to show you two other things. I'm going to go to my car and show you two other things real quick. Okay, guys, we're here at my car. I just wanted to show you this basic setup that I have here. Make sure you need to stain the chair with avocado if you have a back injury, because that will help. Just kidding. I don't even know what that is. I need to clean that. It's disgusting. So this is a purple cushion, and I've been sitting on this for years, and I don't need it. I could drive without it, but this is really good for longevity of the spine. It takes a lot of pressure off. And guys, we're doing a lot of sitting right now. You may as well get one of these cushions if you have a back injury. It will ease your pain a lot. This is a Mackenzie roll, okay? The original Mackenzie lumbar roll. And this just goes, it lifts it up about 3 or 4 inches, and it goes on my lower back, okay? And it basically creates, I'll try and do this if you can see me, basically forces my spine to be straighter and creates is this inflection, or there's two words I always space out between them. One is inflection, and one is, it's the one where my spine is like this, not where my spine is like that. Okay, you get the point, right? So this is how I drive, and again, I don't need it, but I wouldn't want to drive without it after what I've been through. And knowing how this actually protects my spine, and actually, even if I didn't have an injury, now that I know what I know about the spine, I would do this, right? Yeah. All right, guys, so I gave you some important tips there. Obviously, there's more that I've done, and there's more that's helpful than just what I mentioned, but I wanted to just give you the most important pieces of the puzzle and not overload you with information. I would say another really cool side dish here is that you should get these shoes. Okay, I've only worn these shoes since having a back injury. These are the Ultra Torins. I believe these are the Ultra Torin 4s, and they're 0 drop shoes, and they allow you to grip the floor with your toes. When you are walking without shoes, you should always grip the floor with your toes. Okay, you create like sort of traction with your toes, and that will help back injury dramatically. Okay, so you want to get shoes that support that process, and Ultra Torrens, I think Ultra is the best shoe company in the world. I'll never wear any other shoe. I remember like I tried to wear Vans again because I wore Vans my whole life, and then once I got my back injury, it was like, that's it for Vans. I just couldn't do it anymore. It was so important how I gripped the ground with my feet. All right, so I'll post links to everything, and ask me some questions in the comment section if you want. Check out part 2 for the sacroiliac joint, of an absolute maze of a problem that a lot of people are going to be really happy that I made this video, because I suffered so much, and I feel like I found some golden answers through how much determination I had. And basically, yeah, that's it, right? I've done a lot of different things. Obviously there's other things that I did, they helped as well, but I'm trying to pass to you guys the most important pieces of the puzzle for the cheapest price, and empower you to do as much as you can on your own. There's nothing that I did that was completely useless in that list of things that I mentioned. Actually, physical therapy was probably kind of useless. And everything else had its place, you know. And I'm sure the stem cells and exosomes helped me as well. But again, I'm just giving you guys the information that I know moved the needle the most for me, and that now are the most important tools for when I'm out of whack, because I still get out of whack sometimes. In particular, if I do intense vigorous exercise or exercise in the bedroom, there's you know, there are times when I'm sore still, right? But again, overall, I could be like this for the rest of my life and not have a complaint, not even a hint of a complaint. And I'm sure I'm even going to continue to get better and stronger. So you must keep your hope. I was so hopeless. I was very strongly considering surgery. It wasn't an option for me. I knew that I wasn't going to do it, but every day was just like, maybe I should get it. Maybe I should get it. Maybe I should get it. Like, this is hell. This is torture. How could this possibly end? And somehow, just as I broke my brain and healed it, broke my back and healed it. Didn't actually break it, but you know what I'm saying. So there's hope. Stay on the path. Let me know how you find these items, and if you have sacroiliac joint dysfunction, do not miss this next video. Subscribe, like, leave a comment below. Peace.
Summer in the hills, those hazy days I do remember. We were running still, had the whole world at our feet, watching seasons change. Our roads were